As we listen to Karen's beautiful prelude, let's quiet our minds and open our hearts, silence our cell phones, and give ourselves a chance to unplug, relax, and enjoy some fellowship.
I'm going to play a piece based on a Chinese folk song from the Yunnan province called Flowing Stream.
Our centering thought is we find ourselves here in community, each called from many different journeys onto this river road. Welcome to our Sunday morning gathering at Summit Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. I'm Stacy Sasaki, and I'm so glad you've all chosen to be here with us today, whether you're here in the sanctuary or virtually on Zoom. Summit is a liberal religious community bound together by shared principles drawn from world religions, humanist teachings, nature and science, philosophy, and personal practices. We aspire to be a religion of love and inclusion. The mission of Summit is to commit ourselves to building a more compassionate, just, and sustainable world. If you're new to Unitarian Universalism or to Summit and you would like to know more about us, we invite you to go to our website, summituuf.org, click on the visitors button, fill out the online connection card, and someone, probably me, will follow up with you. If you're present, feel free to visit the visitors table and ask questions because we have answers. We have several announcements today. Jim, would you like to come make the announcement?
Good morning. So I'm going to follow up a little bit about what Stacy said. I'm Jim Weed, chairperson of the Welcoming and Membership Committee. Anyway, the committee is inviting people who are interested to join us on the first Sunday of October for an event known as Getting to Know Us, an orientation for newcomers to Summit. Here you'll be able to learn more about our fellowship in Unitarian Universalism. This will happen on Sunday, October 6th at 11:30 a.m., I got it right this time, in the Summit Library. Our minister, KC, Summit leadership, and members of the Welcoming and Membership Committee will be in attendance. And then to bribe people, as usual, there will be food and beverages. So again, this will give us, this event will give newcomers and new members a better understanding of Unitarian Universalism, as well as Summit Unitarian Universalism Fellowship. So if you're interested in this event, feel free to talk with me. I'll be out at the table afterwards, or sometime maybe even talk with KC about it. Thank you.
Good morning. I am here to give you an update on the auction. Our business donation coordinator, Pam Williams, and her helper, Carol, have been busy at work collecting donations, and we only need about 12 to 15 more business donations to meet our goal. So if you want to float some ideas by me or her as to businesses that you might be interested in asking for a donation, that would be fantastic. I also have some ideas on this board, and they will be on the back in the table. Okay, some ideas that have worked in the past. We like to work on history. Your favorite business could be our favorite business. We are ready to move to the next step in the Year of the Dragon. Summit's auction in the Year of the Dragon. Personal donations. I'm so excited to see what you guys come up with. We've had some fabulous dinners, events, and donations. And Batman will be handing out forms. Pam will be handing out forms. And Debbie will be handing out forms. Please, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. The number one question, where can you turn in your donation form? There is a file folder when you walk into the office, past the desk, through the doorway. On the left-hand side, there is a folder labeled Wonder Woman. You can put it there for me. You can also hand it to me. You can also hand it to Batman. You can also hand it to Pam or Debbie. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm so excited about celebrating the Year of the Dragon in November. 12th, 14th, I think. 16th. Doesn't say. 16th. November 16th. Woohoo!
Morning. Patrick, can you make my mic hot? Good morning. My name is Mary Carter Vale. I'm your Director of Religious Exploration, which is Children and Family Ministries here at Summit. And today we have a lovely babbling pond over here because wonder is the way that children experience spiritual wellness. They wonder, they're curious. So I have a curiosity pond over here with shells and some pirate treasure and rocks and sand. It's a little murky because, you know, the ocean's a little murky and you have to sort of dig for the treasure. But this isn't just for kids. So if you need to get your fingers wet, come on over. But it's a quiet play zone. It's not a big splashing. It's quiet, gentle play. So thank you.
Yes, there you are. I was looking for you. You have to come up here to make the announcement. Sorry. We have to hear you because I know it's important stuff. Yeah.
Well, first I have something for would-be a care. Erin Doherty came down with a kidney infection, and she was in emergency yesterday. It appears like she's going into the hospital today. It's not better, so, but positive thoughts are asked for Erin. Oh, secondly, myself being the co-chair, there will be a social justice and action meeting today at noon in the library. And we're still have some postcards left over, which we'll be probably working for. And so Erin sent those in this morning. And we need about $40 in donations, or $40 to pay for what we've used as far as to mail stuff and the cards that have been bought and stuff. So, but whatever you can find. So, okay. So, thank you. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. If you look at your programs, you will notice that it says community gathering time is only being hosted by one person this week. We're trying something a little new this year. I was finding that I was having a tough time getting to know everyone when I was spending every Sunday in here. So what I would like to challenge everyone to do on the Sundays that I am not doing Sunday gathering is to make it what you need it here. Whether that's small groups together, whether we take it from here straight into the salon. So for now, we're going to try once a month with me co-hosting our Sunday services after community gathering. The rest of the time, I'm going to let you all explore, those of you who enjoy doing the Sunday gathering, to see what it can become for each of you together. So next week, I'll be co-leading it with our Sunday Services associate after we talk about banned books, but I'm not going to be doing it every weekend I'm in the pulpit. And we're going to explore that for a little while and see what happens. And if it works, I'm excited to see where Sunday after community gathering goes. If it doesn't work, we'll try something new. But I just wanted to let you know that was a change we're making this year, and we're going to keep wondering together.
But today's normal, right? Nope. Oh, did we start today?
Today, if there's a Sunday after services gathering, you are leading it.
Oh, okay.
I'm letting you do it.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Sorry, we didn't get to talk about that this week.
No,
Which is really what you already do, because there's nothing I do. Like, I don't want to give anyone answers. I just like answering the questions. that
Okay.
come up, so.
all right.
You guys want to skip it this week? Because I just dropped it off.
We'll see what you all want to do later. We acknowledge that our fellowship resides on unceded Kumeyaay land. The Kumeyaay have lived on this land for 10,000 years, and it's their home today. We recognize the abusive history of colonization in California and are mindful of our duty to responsibly act from our position of privilege. We're going to light the chalice now. Our pastor will light it for us. And it says that I'm supposed to read this, but I don't have it. Thank you. We gather this morning on the brink of a new congregational year. Some of us come fresh from summer adventures, from wind and waves and sunshine. Some of us come broken down from summer losses, from tears and pain and heartache. Some of us come renewed from summer rest, from peace and solitude and contemplation. Some of us come wearied from summer monotony, from work and heat and sameness. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever gifts and needs you bring, you are welcome here. Now, please stand as you're able for our UU hymn and aspiration. May the quest for truth be its sacrament, and service be its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration.
Good morning again. My name is Casey Marie Pandell. I am the minister here at Summit Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Whether it is your first visit or your 5,000th visit or somewhere in between, you are whole, you are holy, you are loved, and you are so welcome here. Our reading this morning is an excerpt from Mary Oliver's At the River Clarion. I'm going to tell you out of context, it sounds really great. It's a much more complicated poem than this, so go with me. I don't know who God is exactly, but I'll tell you this. I was sitting in the river named Clarion on a water-splashed stone, and all afternoon I listened to the voices of the river talking. And slowly, very slowly, it became clear to me what they were saying. Said the river, I am part of holiness. And I too, said the stone. And I too, whispered the moss beneath the water. I'd been to the river before a few times. I don't blame the river that nothing happened quickly. You don't hear such voices in an hour or even a day. You don't hear them if it is all stuffed with selfhood in your ears. And it's difficult to hear anything anyway through all the traffic, the ambition. Please rise in mind, body, or spirit as you are able to join our new music director, Duncan, and our choir in singing number 60, In Time of Silver Rain. That is in your gray hardback hymnal. Our joins and concerns can be emailed or texted to me throughout the week or can be handwritten up near the chancel on a Sunday morning. Whether we choose to share a joy or concern aloud, all are welcome to light a candle as they are so moved. We have a few unspoken joys that have been, actually, they have been spoken. Those are both candles for Erin. So those are a couple of candles for Erin just to send our love and good healing to her. And I would also like to share my own enthusiasm for hearing a choir today. So thank you all. We know we're throwing people into the deep end this week, and that's okay. And I appreciate that you're all here together. You've had just a couple of days to get to know Duncan, so thank you all. And Duncan, thank you for being a part of our team here. We all know that not all of our joys and concerns are spoken this day, whether spoken or unspoken. We hold you in our hearts. I was very busy enjoying the sound of extra life in our choir today. In our congregation. And I would like to invite our Director of Religious Exploration, Mary Cartervale.
Good morning. There's lots of splashing and pond play going on over here. You guys find any treasure? We found some glowies, some treasure. A golden shell. There's all kinds of treasure in the RE cabinets, and it's fun to get to create a pond. Another beautiful shell. We even brought a a thing out to help identify shells. They have all kinds of science and exploration happening here. But what's the central theme over here? What's the one thing that everything has in common over here right now? What? Yeah, what's in the pond? No, but what else is in there? Is there water in there? Ocean things? Yeah, so we have a little pond and everything this year. So I wanted to talk a little bit about water. Guys, you want to come help me with the story today? I'm going to come over here just for a minute. So I have some water. This water is much clearer than what's in the pond. So this water came from a well. For some of you know that I live up in Ramona, and I'm totally dependent on well water. So my water comes from the earth. My well pipe goes 600 feet down into the earth. So the rainwater and any water we use for irrigation, it all filters slowly down, all the way down to become my well water, which is what our family drinks. So I brought this along, and I brought some for everybody to have a sip of well water. So this is water for everybody right here. Yes, I'm going to need some helpers. Your pants are wet. I'm sure they are. I think we have enough for everybody. Colin, can you help me too, please? Colin is home visiting from college. So I have one of my children here. He's getting voluntold. That's how we call it. Yes, we're doing a lot of voluntolding. So water, do we need water to live? Right, we all have to have it. It's the one universal thing that every human needs because our cells are full of water, right? You can feel it in your cells. If you squish your fingers, you can feel it squishy. There's water in our bodies, right? Lots of water. And we have to drink water, especially on a day like today. So I brought a sip of water for everybody. And what we're going to do is we're going to pass them out. You can all have a cup. And I want you to take a moment to have a meditative sip of water. So using mindfulness, very demure, very mindful. So that's a current meme. So you're going to take a sip, and I want you to feel that water go down and just be grateful for how the water interacts with your body and how it nurtures you and nurturing the whole community. All this water came from the same place, so we're all getting a piece of the same little bit of water. We have that in common. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about water after that. So there's 16 cups on each tray. You guys want to try one? No, Abby's like, no. All right. So somebody go help Abby. You wanna hold one, Ashley? Go waiter. Let's go pass them out. Make sure everybody, including the choir and the folks back in the sound area. I've got more if we need it. Don't quite gulp it all down yet. We're gonna do it together. I'm gonna do it all together. This is why I have to wear this because I bump into things. My broken arm and elbow. So water also, it helps you. How does water help you? I don't know. But you like it, right? It makes you feel good. Yeah, when you drink some water, you feel good. So water is also a symbol for emotion. I don't know if you've ever thought of that. What do we do when we have big feelings? Sometimes we cry, right? So water can flow, emotions can flow. In fact, last year when I did this service, I was dealing with some really big emotions because my partner had just passed away. So I want you also to think about, as you're drinking it, the feelings, the emotions that you feel. So let me know when everybody has one. More for the choir. We see more back in the back corner, please. Make sure our tech team has some too. I need one too. All right, let's everybody and make sure, let's get Phoenix and Ashleen back over here so they can have a cup. They can all have a sip together. They all have a cup. Bring it right here, Phoenix. Okay. Everybody's got their cup? All right, so let's all take a sip together and just quietly feel it run into your body. Ready? Feel how it fills your cells, nurtured by the water. And water is, like I said, emotions. So another great way, if you have big feelings, is to get into the water. Allow those feelings to flow. Thank you for listening. The time for all ages. Now we're going to go back and play in the pond. I hope you all enjoyed your water. I loved it. You loved it. Okay, good. That's what's important. I'm going to
And now please rise in mind, body, or spirit as you are able or so moved to join our choir in singing Shine on Me. Just the choir. I lied. You can all sit down and enjoy hearing the choir sing.
Shining above in the heavens for me. Oh, is the light shining above? Is it shining above in the heavens for me? I'm wondering, wondering, wondering if there's a light that will shine on me. Will it shine on me? Oh, is a light shining above? Is it shining above in the heavens for me? I'm wondering, wondering, wondering if there's a light that is shining above in the heavens for me. Oh, is a light shining above? Is it shining above in the heavens for me? I'm wondering, wondering, wondering if there's a light that will shine on me. Will it shine on me?
Now we welcome our pastor, Casey Marie Pandell, for her sermon, The Humbling River.
Our Unitarian Universalist Water Communion is one of those things that comes around every single year in September. And I think the trick for our ministers is to not overthink how to do it. It's not about finding some genius new way to talk about the same ritual. No, I think it's more about finding some spark within what we always do that can speak to the moment that we're living in. Of course, we always want there to be some familiarity. So this year, like last, we have our little pond, which I am particularly fond of. It's a truly, truly lovely invention of Mary's that I'm really grateful for. And we have our ritual that we just did with the drinking water, and we, of course, have our ritual with adding water in just a little bit. There's something powerful in the repetition of it all. Just as the running water the running water of the river wears new paths into the earth, so too can this ritual be the path that we find solace in when we return together, often changed in some way from who we were before we left for the summer. Traditionally, in the old school version of Unitarian Universalism, many East Coast congregations would actually break for the summer, and the in-gathering worship would be the moment of return when our churches would open up again. Historically speaking, this has been the case for much, much longer than the water communion has been what it is. But I think there's a special beauty in this communion having become a part of our homecoming, even if most of our communities don't close for the summer. I, for one, rather enjoy the symbolism of the water, our own individual drops from wherever they come from, converging together in our own little vessels and our tiny oceans we create together. I actually keep this vessel in front of me in my office year-round on display as a reminder of our returning. And this year, I hope to use the same water for another ritual later in the year. But water is so much more than just about us, which is, I think, an important reminder as we return from the hubbub of our summers. I spent most of my drive from Orange County back to San Diego this week, pups asleep in their beds in the back of my car, thinking about why this subject, why today? Why was I so called to calling this the humbling river? See, often Spirit gets all the genius and throws a title and subject at me and says, "Get it together, ma'am." And I have to say, the challenge of my ministerial life has been to figure out what the heck it all means when that does happen, including on the days when titles come from music that has nothing to do with the subject at all. This tradition of ours that began as an intentional coming together of women, which is the history of the water communion, that sort of over the years across the country morphed into an annual adult book report entitled "The Cool Things I Did This Summer." What was the message that I felt Spirit was guiding me to share with all of you today? As I was driving down the 5 at about 8 p.m. on Thursday night, the Pacific Ocean stretched out on my right-hand side. Even through the darkness of nightfall, I still thought, how lucky I am to get to journey along this beautiful ocean, teeming with life unseen, even at this moment. How lucky for a lot of things. Clean water, for one. While the main crisis in Flint, Michigan began in 2014 with city officials temporarily rerouting city water from Detroit to the Flint River while new infrastructure from Lake Huron was being built, 10 years later, there is still no end in sight to the crisis for some city residents. City officials have consistently failed to meet improvement deadlines, and there are still homes a decade later with contaminated drinking and bathing water. A full decade later, there are still residents forced to use bottled water for the sake of their safety, because the city, due in no small part to systemic racism and poverty, has continued to fail them. The city of Fullerton, my hometown, has consistently showed elevated levels of unsafe drinking water for nearly as long, and that's just as long as many people have known. Call me a conspiracy theorist if you want, but something tells me it's not coincidence that the safest water is in the downtown area and further north, where the residents are more likely to be affluent, well-educated, and white. The most unsafe water, the water I grew up drinking, is located most centrally in the poorest neighborhoods, with the highest number of working-class folks, many of whom are immigrants to this country from various global South countries, predominantly from Mexico. Of course, those are two of but hundreds of thousands of stories of access to water separating people, from natural disaster-stricken Americans boiling water after hurricanes or storms, to mothers and children in Niger, Chad, Ethiopia, places where between 35 and 55% of the accessible water is unsafe, and people must travel hours every day just to find safe water, something we all require to survive. Oxfam International states that less than 5% of the water in Gaza is safe to consume. The surrounding ocean has become full of sewage, and more than 2 million people are without clean access water, though efforts have begun to curb that. Water should be the great equalizer. There isn't a human, a living being, either flora or fauna, that does not require water just to survive, but to thrive. And yet, in a world full of war and for-profit choices and corporate greed, water is treated like a luxury, not a necessity. Water for me, but not water for thee. There's no call to action here today. I'm not expecting you to change the world after this brief homily. We know that the global water crisis is not one that we can solve, though we can take steps to conserve water locally and do our part within our communities. During a heat wave like the one we are all currently experiencing, trust me, just a bottle of water can be a life-saving measure for someone else. But I do invite you, as you are so moved, when it comes time in just a few moments to add water to our own little summit vessel, to think not just on the personal importance of the water that you may have brought today or the water that you will use from our own pitchers, but to consider water in ways that we don't often think about because it's so readily available to those of us in the room. Sometimes a message from Spirit is less about what we can do for ourselves or what change we can make in the world today, in this instant. I don't think it's about being a savior and being a superhero in the world. Sometimes I think Spirit simply wants to prod us in the direction of dreaming what is possible when we lean into the interdependent web of existence. Direct action is not and cannot always be the goal. No, sometimes I think it's less about the work of our hands than it is about the work of our souls. Sometimes I think what Spirit moves us to is the power of the witnessing of which we are called. So may it be, and amen. Now we're going to spend some time in ritual space together. If we could get Rin, could we get the handheld microphone? I'm going to invite everyone, as they are so moved, to go ahead and line up down our aisles. If you've brought water with you from some travel, from your back garden, wherever water comes from, you're welcome to share the water that you've brought with today. If you forgot, if this is your first day and you've never done this before, we have water for you. And we're just going to add a little bit to the vessel. If you would like to share a brief word or phrase about what this ritual means to you, where you are today, whatever you are called to, you're welcome to do that.
Testing. There we go. Here's an example, and just a little bit of water. Gratitude.
Friendship. Community.
Soothing. This water represents the water in our rain barrel.
Cleansing and flow. Alaska. I was in Alaska this summer. There's a lot of water.
Joyce from Kings Canyon.
Relaxation from Saquon. Thank you, Saquon.
This represents a drop of water that becomes the ocean, and the ocean becomes a drop of water.
Life-giving.
Family trip.
Water representing freedom in the future and today.
I hope a dog drinks this water.
It could happen here.
Happiness.
Growth.
Cooling the weather and preventing the heat stroke for many people playing.
The Colorado River to Lake Jennings or El Capitan Reservoir to Helix Water District and to our house and super purified. Water cycle.
Restorative.
Waterfall. Awareness of the thirst of others.
Our very old pond, probably hundreds of years old.
Refreshing.
Change and possibility.
Anybody want us to pour water for them? This is to symbolize all our past loved ones. And I'll do one to symbolize those who couldn't be here.
And it's worth noting that before Reverend Everett left his time here with Summit, he left water from 2020 and 2021. I added some of that water in this morning. Those containers of water will now leave my office because I don't have room for them in there, but it's always going to be a part of the journey that we went on, as everything we know has led us to this moment and will lead us to our growth together.
Wanjiro at home says lifeline.
And our prayer and meditation today comes from Starhawk, entitled Blessings for Water. And this is actually blessing our water today. Praise and gratitude for the sacred waters of the world, to the oceans, the mother of life, the womb of the plant life that freshens our air with oxygen, the brew that is stirred by sunlight and by the moon's gravity into the great currents and tides that move across the earth, circulating the means of life, bringing warmth to the frozen Arctic and cool, fresh winds to the tropics. We give thanks for the blessed clouds and the rain that brings the gift of life to the land, that eases the thirst of the roots, that grows the trees and sustains life even in the dry desert. We give thanks for the springs that bring life-giving water up from the ground, from the small streams and creeks, for the mighty rivers. We praise the beauty of water, the sparkle of the sunlight on the blue lake, the shimmer of moonlight on the ocean's waves, the white spray of the waterfall. We take delight in the sweet singing of the dancing stream and the roar of the river in the flood. We ask help to know within ourselves all the powers of water, to wear down and to build up, to ebb and to flow, to nurture and destroy, to merge and to separate. We know that water has great powers of healing and cleansing, and we also know that water is vulnerable to contamination and pollution. We ask help in our work as healers, in our efforts to ensure that the waters of the world run clean and run free, that all the earth's children have the water they need to sustain abundance of life. Blessed be this and all water.
Thank you for that refreshing sermon. So I'm going to clap for her. Now we have our Sunday morning offering, which is a gift that provides Summit UU Fellowship the financial resources to help us build a better world together. The smallest gift is welcome. For those of you on Zoom, the link can be found in the chat box. Just select the Sunday plate option to allocate your donation for the appropriate account. Thank you, Karen. That's one of my favorite pieces, and you did it exquisitely. Please join us if you're willing to stand, and we're going to sing our closing hymn, 1064, in the teal hymnal, Blue Boat Home.
I just want to make a note that Duncan is not a Unitarian Universalist. Duncan did not know that this is UUisms like Sweet Caroline and how much everyone in this congregation loves that song. He did tell me this morning, I guess Spirit moved me to choose it, which I loved. And so there's already some synchronicity going on, which I really appreciate. As far as our after community gathering goes, I encourage you all, it's not so much for Stacy to have to lead it, but maybe just to think about together in the space, those of you who are interested in it, think about what you would like it to become. That way there's no pressure on Stacy to lead something she didn't know she was in charge of. That was my bad, Stacy. I know when we come here on a Sunday, we're coming to be uplifted. I know sometimes that doesn't always happen the way maybe we expect it to. I know it's hard to bear witness to the pains of the world. We had yet another school shooting happen this week. We've seen continued 2 school shootings happen this week. Thank you, Eleanor, which is a correction I hate that you just had to make. We know there's continued strife and war and conflict across the world. We know we can't fix it, but we come here together like the ocean with all of its rivers coming to it. We come together to be in this place, to witness together the pains of the world and to witness together the beauty within us when we come together. So I encourage you, as you try to stay cool in our 107-degree weather today, to think about your why for always being here together, because that is the magic of our journey together. Amen, shalom, salam, ashe, namaste, and blessed be. Go now in peace. May the light and the waters be a blessing to the world.
Thank you for being here today. Every single one of you is important. We close our service by extinguishing this chalice. Did we already do that? Did we extinguish the chalice? Okay. After which, we'll sing our closing circle song. And the words are, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. Thus we carry in our hearts until we are all, these we carry in our hearts until we are all together again. Please rise and we will sing our closing circle song, after which we will have something I don't understand, but we'll figure it out together.